Hello everyone and welcome to the Mortal Kombat 9 Retrospective. This is the start of a series where I look back at the original NetherRealm trilogy. If these videos do well, then I will do a retrospective of every single Mortal Kombat game and then rank them all. But I won't do that if these three don't do well because that would be wasting time for barely any views. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into this. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Geek City. In these retrospective videos, I will look back at everything about these games, including story, gameplay, game modes, and much more. So let's not waste any more time. In case you've never played Mortal Kombat 9, here is some basic info. Mortal Kombat 9 was the first Mortal Kombat game after Midway shut down. The company that created this game was NetherRealm Studios, and they have made every Mortal Kombat game since. Mortal Kombat 9 was released in April 2011 with a bunch of praise. Some people, to this day, still call it the best Mortal Kombat game. Now, what do I think about it? Let's find out. First of all, I want to give my basic thoughts. This is easily one of the best Mortal Kombat games. I enjoy the gameplay, the story, and much more, and all of that will be discussed in this video, of course. Now, obviously, with every other game, there are some issues, and I will talk about that, but I can't deny this game did a great job bringing us into the modern era of Mortal Kombat. So let's first talk about gameplay. I think the gameplay is pretty good in this game. I don't think it has the best gameplay in the series, but I would put it up there because I think it introduced a lot of new mechanics, including X-rays, which are a lot of fun to use even though they can be a bit risky. Almost every character in this game has their own unique gameplay and movesets, and none feel like a copy and paste of another character. Now, I do have some nitpicks about the gameplay. Some examples include counter moves. Counter moves use 2 bars of special meter, and that bugs me for some reason. This is one of those games where I think it is much easier to be on offense than defense. The gameplay is also very balanced since every character is basically broken, so it's pretty much even, which is something you can't say for a lot of Mortal Kombat games. But overall, I still think the gameplay is pretty enjoyable even though it is not the best in the franchise. There are a lot of new systems introduced in Mortal Kombat 9, and one of my favorites is the Crypt. The Crypt is a system to unlock concept art, skins, and much more. I do think the Crypt got better in each game, because it's a little buggy in this one. Obviously, because it's the first time they tried it. It's very hard to move around, and if you need to turn around or move back, that can be very difficult to do, so you'll just have to find another way to do it. I do think that issue was fixed in the next few games, certainly with MKX and 11. It was still a cool mode though, and a new and original way to unlock different collectibles and make your characters look different. One of the best things about the game is just the amount of content. Of course there was Crypt, which I just mentioned, but there was so much more. Of course it has a story mode and arcade towers like every other fighting game, but it also has other things such as tag battles, online modes, and challenge towers. The challenge tower is one of the hardest things to beat in the history of Mortal Kombat, and you can't tell me otherwise. There are 300 levels with different game modes and challenges that you have to complete. The final boss is Goro, Kintaro, Mileena, and Shao Kahn, all with 1 health bar. And all you get from this is a naked Mileena skin, which is a bit underwhelming since it can take about 5 hours to complete this tower, and that's just without dying. And all you get is a naked Mileena skin. I feel like they should have given you a little more, but it's fine. Test Your Luck and Test Your Might were also a lot of fun, but that's normal. That's nothing new. There was just so much to do in this game, so many things for you to do, because I feel like this game is when they really started to add on, especially since this is on modern consoles, and it's not from PS2 and Xbox 2, whatever. You know what I mean. I would argue that this has the most content to do out of any Mortal Kombat game. And remember, this is a fighting game. Most fighting games don't have this much content because they're fighting games, but this is an exception. Another great thing about this game is the roster. This is something that everybody praises. There are a total of 32 characters if you include all the DLCs. This game did a great job mixing new and old characters. You of course have some of the classic ones, including Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Kano, Liu Kang, Katana, Mileena, and more. But it also has some characters from the 3D era such as Quan Chi and Kenshi, and even new characters like Cyber Sub-Zero and Scarlet. I think this game had some of the best DLC characters. You can't tell me it's not awesome to have Freddy Krueger and Kratos in the same video game. They also brought back old characters such as Rain and Kenshi. Now, I can't deny that the roster screen is ugly. I don't think they fully figured it out yet, so there are like 2 Cyber Sub-Zeros, just so they can make it all match and on 4 on each side. And the DLC is just kind of put to the side, but I think they got better. Just look at how Mortal Kombat 11 did it. But overall, I think it's a great roster. Could I have used a few more 3D era characters? Yeah, but you have to remember, this game is retelling the first 3 games, so that's okay. The stages are also great. You have a mix of old and new. It's so cool to see these classic stages brought back, such as the Pit, Deadpool, and much more. But I also like the new stages, such as the subway, and being able to play in the city is very cool as well. The score in this game is great, because a lot of it is remastered versions of the classic scores, so it fits very well with the stages and makes the fights feel more intense. It very much is nostalgic. If you pick like classic skins, go on one of the classic stages, and you get to hear that classic music. I know I'm saying classic a lot, but there's something about it. I think this game just did a great job celebrating Mortal Kombat and the nostalgia. Perfect. As you probably know, I'm someone who loves to be able to customize characters. I want my characters to look good. I love games where I can change my skin and make them look how I want them to. This is the game where we had to, we got to start having more skins than just 2. Now, in the 3D era, you had 2 skins, and sometimes they look great and sometimes they look awful. Like, look at Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat Ascension. He had the best Sub-Zero skin and the worst. You only had 2 skins, though. Now, you have a base skin, but you could have alternate ones, such as the classic 92 skins, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, battle damage ones, alternate skins, human skins for the cyber characters, and different color palettes as well. Now, this is another feature that I think got better over time. Like, now you have customizable gear and everything. But this is a nice start. Something new. I feel like Mortal Kombat, this is the game where they just started adding a ton of new stuff that we had never seen before in the past Mortal Kombat games. That's one of the best things about it. I just think overall that the skin designs look really good. There are some iconic costumes that came from this game, and I would love to see them in modern Mortal Kombat games. I mean, look at that Scorpion skin, and it looked so good in MK11. I'm still mad that the past versions of MK11 story mode aren't actually wearing their proper MK9 skins. That would have been cool to see, but whatever. I've even talked about that before. Imagine seeing all these beautiful MK9 skins in modern games, like in MK11, which should have happened, but whatever, it's fine. Check out my rewrite if you want to see a proper version. I think also, this game just has a good atmosphere. The look of the game is good with its beautiful bright colors. I think it just adds to the vibe of the game in a way, and I don't really know how to describe it. This game just feels very nostalgic, also bringing us back to the 2D era roots, and that is something I very much appreciate. It's nostalgia used properly, and that's something very rare nowadays. It doesn't feel like it's covering up issues by making it feel nostalgic. I just think they did a good job with it. It's bright colors, and the fatalities are also pretty good. This game also added Babalities back, which was a finisher that turned your character into, guess what, a baby. I like that NetherRealm has been bringing back old finishers like Friendships being brought back in MK11. I would love to see Babalities brought back, but I highly doubt that will ever happen again. Now, of course, the graphics are outdated, and I think that even for a 2011 game, it could have looked better. For example, games such as Arkham City and Uncharted 3 both came out in 2011, and I think those games had way better graphics. But after this game, I think NetherRealm has been on top when it comes to graphics, and have always had great ones other than this. I mean, just look at all their other games. The Injustice games and all the MKX and 11 and 1. All of those games have great graphics for the time. I just feel like in this game, they're a little outdated. But again, this was their first game, so it's okay. But, in my opinion, the best thing about Mortal Kombat 9 is the story mode. The story retells the events of the first 3 games, but modernized with new things added to still make the story feel original. I don't want to break down the whole story because that would take way too long. If you want to see good, proper versions of the story mode, check out Dead Meat's Mortal Kombat 9 kill count video. He really goes in depth on the plot, and there are other ones out there. If you want to see a full plot synopsis that really goes in depth and goes through every single chapter and every single fight, that's easy for you to find. But I don't want to make this video hours, okay? Just like, 20 minutes or so. But the basic plot is that future Raiden sends a warning to past Raiden that says he must win, and now Raiden is trying to figure out what that means. By the end of the story, almost everyone is dead, and the bad guys kind of win, which leads us in MKX. I love this story, but there are a few issues. I think the chapter system is very flawed, and because some of the fights have to happen just so everyone can have their 4 fights. Like, for example, Jack's fighting Johnny because he's annoyed. That shouldn't be happening, but since every character in the chapter has to have 4 fights, they just make up random reasons. Another issue is the Sindel Massacre. The Sindel Massacre thing is very controversial. I don't mind a lot of characters getting killed off, but it should be handled differently. Some of them died from like 3 punches. They should have made it more brutal and not all of them attacked at once. That's the problem. They all just kind of charge at her. Like, these are all people who are supposed to be really good at combat. Why are they all one at a time attacking her? They should have made it look like they were all trying at once, but still Sindel was too strong. I feel like they should have done that, and then it would have been more realistic. The voice acting is great, with the standouts including Richard Epcar's Raiden and Patrick Seitz' Scorpion. Great, and it just adds to the story with their great voice acting. So overall, I think the story mode was really good and it is very fun to replay. There are some issues with the way the deaths are handled along with the chapter system, and some dialogue is pretty cheesy. Another issue with the chapter system is a character will win their 4 fights, and they become a total loser and get beat up in every single fight they're in. Like, for example, Johnny Cage wins his 4 fights, and then after that, all he ever does is lose. He loses to a ton of different characters after his 4 fights. So yeah, I think NetherRealm needs to get, stop with the whole chapter system. It's very flawed. Well, that's everything. I'm trying my best to not make this video an hour, and let's hope that's what happened. I do feel like this retrospective will be shorter than the other ones because there are less negative things to talk about this game, obviously, so it's just me praising it. So most likely this one will be the shortest. Let me know what you think of MK9 in the comments down below, and remember that I will cover MKX and 11 and all these videos, and if they do well, then I will do one for every single Mortal Kombat game, even Mortal Kombat 1, and rank them all. But you have to prove that you want those videos by showing these some love. Make sure to turn on notifications if you want to see those videos. Make sure to give these some likes. Again, I'm not doing these reviews if these 3 don't do well, so make sure to like the videos. Let me know in the comments if you want to see them. And as always, stay geeky.